let me talk about drip, drop, draw. So drip, drop, draw is a game that is acting as a layer on top of the faucet for drip that will allow people to get a chance of a much bigger stake size. So it will pick a random deposit and the largest deposit of the day to give a jackpot to. Sorry, not of the day. Sorry, not of the day, actually. Of the round, I should say. And pay out a jackpot to both a random user and the largest of the day will get a jackpot. And then there's five lower tier prizes that will get distributed. And we're doing it every 4 hours. And the reason why we're doing it every 4 hours rather than, say, every day, once a week, is because it maintains all of the incentive to be the highest depositor of that round without creating the same kind of negative negative effect that you get when everybody's expecting a major pump at one time during the day, and it starts to get manipulated where people just buy before that major pump and buy after and try to bot it just to the largest one, and then you have that that rush at the end. Now you want that rush of buys coming in, even if they're bought, because at the end of the day they're buying and they're staking. So use bots all you want to buy and stake. You're helping the ecosystem, and you're investing into the ecosystem. So that's fine, but you want the average person who is just an investor in drip to be able to win as well. And you do that by, one, choosing a random person. That way it's not always just the largest, and having multiple tiers, and doing it multiple times a day. So when you do it multiple times a day, it adds a level of stability to it. So you don't just have that high volatile spike once a day that then gets dumped into. And instead, you just have a steady increase in volume coming in. So that's something which will act as a layer 2 option for staking in the faucet. So when you want to stake in the faucet, you can stake in the faucet and do it the normal way that you've been doing it. Or you can decide to do it through this layer. If you do, you're going to pay a little bit higher of a tax, but you have a chance of winning a much greater stake. So this kind of gamification adds a new fun way that people can interact with drip, and it will be coming in conjunction with the UI and the fiat on-ramp and the cross-chain functionality. So with the drip UI, this is something that we're also aiming for March. So we're trying to do everything at once with it. And one of the things that we were waiting for is the fiat on-ramp. Due to the fact that we're buying drip off our native DEX, and we're giving an incentive for people who are buying drip with fresh capital, so it's coming from the fiat on-ramp, a tax break if they deposit it directly into the faucet. So because we're setting up all of this additional functionality and incentive structures to our fiat on-ramp, and also, all right, so let me just wrap this up, and I want to talk about another benefit. But since we're doing it with this functionality, which is something other fiat on-ramps don't have, we needed to do extra contract work, and it was taking them a little bit longer than expected, but it's at a point where tomorrow we're getting a sign off on the final design, and this design is coded. It's not Figma. The cross-chain functionality, all of that, and the airdrop and all of those mechanics. The contract work is done, and the fiat on-ramp integration is really the last thing to do. And there's one more thing that the on-ramp provider that we're working with is doing, and it has to do with their widget, and they said that they will be completed with it next week, and that will allow us to implement that last piece of development we need to do on the Drip UI, and at the same time, Drip Drop Draw. This is a development team that is made up of community members that started working on this. You know, they asked if it was cool with me if they built something, and I told them absolutely, anytime anybody from the community wants to build something and wants my support, I'll give it to you. It's just we have to go through a couple steps to make sure it's secure, and of course I need to be the one that hosts it so I can ensure the security of the website and all of these things. But absolutely, you know, I love when the community participates like that. So they worked up something which I believe is very bullish, but it was calling the winner, for example, from a JavaScript script, essentially, and there were other. It needed the winner to be called by a centralized figure to basically call around today. And there were things like this which were just not decentralized to the extent that I want to decentralize our products. So we've had a handful of development meetings just to discuss how we would take their idea and fully decentralize it and get it to a point where all the calls are being made by the users themselves, and there's no we're not reliant on any kind of centralized code to determine the winner, and it's verifiably trustless through, in this case, a VRF call. So they in the last meeting they had done essentially all of that except for the last final part about the in Oracle, because they want the essentially tickets to enter into the drip drop draw to be priced in BUSD. So that means there needs to be some sort of Oracle, and they just wanted me to give this insight on how we would implement the Oracle. And that was the last meeting we had, and they're very quick. So that will be wrapped up by next week, and we can start testing. And once it's wrapped up, then we can create the docs for it and start promoting it and start promoting the new drip UI and get it out in March. So March is going to be a big month for us because we want to hit the Plinko launch and the drip UI launch with all of the new drip functionality.